Welcome to another edition of the True North Country Comics podcast, dedicated to promote Canadian comic book creators and supporters. I'm John Swinimer. On this episode, I have another interview from Fan Expo 2017, chatting with freelance illustrator Marguerite Sauvage. With a degree in law and communication from the Paris University, Marguerite is known for art and cover art from comic book publishers including Boom Studios for Adventure Time, DC for Bombshells, Sensation Comics, Shade the Changing Girl, and the Flintstones, Image, Marvel for Civil War II, Valiant for Faith, and others. In this interview, Marguerite talks about her recent projects, such as DC Bombshells and Faith for Valiant, along with her insight into the comic book scene in Montreal and her own influences. Before I go further, I encourage you to like this podcast on iTunes and definitely check out the TrueNorthCountryComics.com website. Like it on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and discover a lot more information about Canadian comic book creators and supporters. And now, my chat with Marguerite Sauvage.
Hello, so I just finished to work on the first chapters of Bombshells United. That is some kind of a relaunch of Bombshells taking place in the US. And it's already published. And then after, I'm going to work on a one-shot for Faith, for Valiant, a Christmas special. And then after, I don't know yet.
How would you describe the Montreal sort of comic book scene? I've talked to a few artists, and they say it's a little bit different from the rest of Canada.
I don't really know the scene from the rest of Canada, so it's hard for me to compare. But it's really a small scene in Montreal, especially if you think about the comic book, the work for hire for the big US company. But there is a wider scene, including a lot of different style of comic book storytelling, like autobiographical or science fiction and fantasy. Or there is great publishers like La Pastèque or Front Froid that are really good. So yes, there is a lot of creativity over there.
Would you say you get the best of both worlds because there's a whole entire world of French comic books and then you have English? Would you say that you have been inspired by both?
Yeah, as a French person, I grew up surrounded by the bande dessinée, by Mobius or Giro or Marini, people like that, or even the Italian masters. And but I was also really influenced by the comic book industries and by the manga when I was a teenage. And yeah, but actually I kind of feel the same kind of merge influences in a lot of the artists of nowadays. So,
thanks to Marguerite for talking with me. You can discover more about Marguerite on her site, MargueriteSauvage.com. And thanks to you for listening to the True North Country Comics podcast. I invite you to subscribe, like, and comment on the podcast, and please send your feedback to TrueNorthCountryComics@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. Come back soon for another episode. Bye for now.